What causes anxious attachment in a relationship? Heavy metals or past trauma? Is the anxiety protocol the answer? Thank you. It really stems from like, what kind of relationships have you had in the past? What has happened in the relationship that you're in the moment? If you're not in a relationship, but you're having a lot of fears involved in a new relationship, metals can play a role in that. A lot of times we go through trauma in a relationship, and during that trauma, it can light up the brain so much. Like, if you've ever been betrayed or trust was broken, okay? Like, your trust was broken and you've been betrayed. It's a pain that I don't know like how to describe it entirely, because you can't measure it, but it's a pain that's unbelievable. What a scale. I mean, if you ever had a scale 1 to 10, it's like 100, right? And these wounds can really reside in us. But what happens is when we have a trauma that happens to us, regardless of what it is, especially in relationships, we overheat in the brain. Like, we overheat in the brain. Neurons overheat. Electrical impulses overheat. Things get lit up like no other. And then septa, octa, whatever, November, I'm just making a joke about that. Tiny, tiny, tiny bits, pieces of metal, nano, septo, like real tiny, so small, they can actually alloy together. They can come together and they can meld, and you can have deposits of metals becoming alloys, right? And then you have the memory associated in the neurotransmitter chemical that's residing, that's mixed in with the neuron and on the neuron and in the metals. And now you've got like emotions, trauma, memories bound onto mercury, aluminum, copper from the alloys heating. Right, Spirit? That's right, right? Am I getting that down right? Yeah. So that's what he's saying. Yeah. So that's pretty much it. That's something about that. And what happens, you can have an anxiousness to trauma, to new relationships, to past relationships. Your adrenaline can get spiked really easy. Your nervous system connects to the adrenals. Like, if you haven't seen your boyfriend in a while and there's been problems and fallouts, and then you see him, your adrenals could like just pump and go crazy. Your adrenaline goes nuts. Your vagus nerve starts to get really stressed out. You haven't seen a girl in a while, and a girl that's been in your life, and you've had a relationship with her for a long time, or been married for a long time, and there's a divorce, and then you see your ex-wife, and you go into like kind of like a little bit of shock if it was a really difficult divorce. It happens to guys too. Mostly women. A lot of time guys are like robots. They're just like robots. I'm sensitive, so I'm a sensitive guy. I think part and part because of the spirit of compassion. Spirit of compassion taught me that I have to care, but not just have to care, I have to understand what I'm caring about. Not just like saying, I understand, or I care. Look way beyond that. And so I have to do I'm a different creature. And when I talk to other guys, they're like robots. Like, when I talk to other guys, they're guys that I know and stuff. It's like they don't care. I mean, they care about like nuts and bolts. They care about the car they're driving. They care about bills they're paying. They care, and then a lot of times they don't care about that. They care about like whatever they're doing. Okay, they care about the fun they got planned. They care about the guy time they have. They care about like traveling, whatever it is, right? But they're like but women. And they have a deeper sense. They just do. They have a deeper sense, deeper caring, deeper understanding. Don't get me wrong. There's guys that are really sensitive and they really care and they have tremendous compassion. Don't get me wrong. I'm talking about the majority out there. You might be a really special guy, like a really special guy. And, and it's a whole nother thing. So just don't get me wrong there. And you might be a guy where you have a woman's soul inside of you. And that's how it happened. What happened was, your soul was supposed to go into another mom, during pregnancy or during birth, and your soul was traveling down, and it was beelined. It was derailed. And so here you are, you're a woman's soul, and you're traveling down, you're heading down, and you're supposed to go into this mom that supposed to have a daughter, right? And then all of a sudden, something goes wrong. Something happens with that mom. There's some kind of complication. Maybe the mom had a big blood draw and then the baby dies. And there's a miscarriage. So now, God's like, holy crap, what do we do? There's a saying. And God's like, and then your soul's down here. And your soul was supposed to go into this mom with a daughter. Or your soul is supposed to go into the mom's with the daughter, and you're a female, or you're a male soul, and your male soul was supposed to go into